There is a secret weapon in Blacksmith Wukong that completely changes your light attack combos and makes the thrust stance just completely overpowered. Here's how to unlock it and the best build. Let's go! So this weapon is called the Chu Bei Spear, which comes with a unique effect that integrates spear techniques into light attack combo and increases the damage dealt by thrust stance moves. Now, the integrated spear techniques is the main kicker here. So while you're using this weapon, all your light attack combos are now completely different animations, and they're very similar to like the thrust attack animation. So if you don't like the normal combinations here, it's now completely different. And on top of that, right, it does actually buff the damage from your thrust stance moves, which are already some of the best in the game. And it definitely has like the best varied combo skills once you've unlocked them, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. First, let's talk about how to actually unlock this spear. Now, you will need to be in chapter 3 in order to unlock this. And at a certain point, pretty early in chapter 3, you'll get transported to the Pagoda realm, which is basically like a prison. And in the lower Pagoda, there is a locked cell with an NPC in it. When you first walk past, he'll actually talk to you as you walk past. Now, you'll need to unlock this door. And in order to do that, you'll first need to beat Captain Lotus Vision, who is a short drop off the ledge from the upper Pagoda shrine. Now, this fight has like a ton of projectiles that are like super tricky. And I personally lent heavily into Immobilize for this fight because he likes to teleport away and then spam projectiles on you. So I use that a lot here to immobilize him and then get some massive hits in and then try and dodge the projectiles. But it is a pretty tough fight. Once defeated, you'll now be able to unlock his prison door as well as all the other prison doors in the Pagoda as well, because you run into heaps of these like doors that are locked. You don't actually need to go back to him at this point and talk to him. You definitely can, like I did, and you can talk to him and he'll tell you that you need to go and kill his 4 captains. We've already taken care of one of them, so there's only 3 left. The next one is Captain Wise Voice, who is part of the main chapter path, so you'll run into him like naturally just as you're climbing to the top of the Pagoda. Now, this fight as well just has more lasers that are going to get shot at your face, so that's fun. But if you knock him down, he takes extra damage when you strike his head. Now, also here, be careful of like that madness effects that you've been experiencing throughout the Pagoda where like your max health gets lowered. Now, this effect does go away once you have defeated him, so you'll be able to explore the rest of the Pagoda area like freely without that effect. But just keep in mind here that that effect will actually happen multiple times throughout the fight. So when that does happen, you might just want to back off a little bit and be patient until the effect does subside, and then go back in and fight him from there. Now, the next is the Captain Void Illusion. Now, this is much later in chapter 3. You'll have to go through basically the whole like next area, and then it's like right at the end of like the next area after that, basically. So there is a shrine called the Longevity Road Shrine, which I didn't actually find until after I had found this captain. But you'll run into that shrine on the main path. So if you have hit that shrine, you just kind of need to turn around, and to the right there is a giant which you can defeat. You don't have to, you can just run past him. But past that giant, there is a dead corpse there, which is actually the captain that you'll need to pick up the spirit from. And once you've got that, you've only got the one captain to go, which is just past that Longevity Road Shrine called Captain Kalpa Wave. And this is actually part of the main chapter progress, so you'll definitely run into him. Now, he has like this blood-based wave attacks and like these blood explosions that deal damage over time that deal a lot of damage and are pretty significant, and it's a pretty tough fight. I actually found applying fire with like my transformation and then just kind of brute forcing it a little bit worked for me, but you know, you could definitely finesse fight this guy a little bit more. I was using my Thunder build actually that I did touch on in yesterday's video as well, if you want to go and check that out. But now head back to the original NPC in Lower Pagoda, and after a cutscene, he'll give you the recipe and the crafting material you need to make the Chu Bao Spear, and that's essentially all you need in order to get this and like do that quest line. Now, for using this spear, you obviously want to lean into the thrust skills here, right? So definitely grab all of the thrust skills and remove any skill points you have in the other ones, like because they're kind of wasted if you're not actually going to use them for this build. Now, when you grab all of those skills for this spear, you need to familiarize yourself with them because they are quite different, right? You've got things like Tactical Retreat, which allows you to like pop back instead of dodging, and then you can follow up with a heavy attack for like a thrust, or you can do a light attack for like Whirling Thrust, where you'll like jump forward and like spin the spear like in front of you. Now, if you upgrade the Whirling Thrust, it will also increase your critical hit chance, which is, you know, fantastic. You can't go wrong there. Also, make sure you spend the sparks on the left-hand side of the stance tree as well here, so you can unlock the extra focus points, as they're super crucial, not only to increase your maximum damage with your heavy thrust, but also you can perform multiple of those tactical retreats and forceful thrusts and whirling thrusts. So having all of those focus points really does make a difference. So definitely you want to grab those. Now for armor here, I am wearing the bronze set, though it's probably not the best for this build. I've upgraded it with the blacksmith, which I did talk about in that same video with the thunder build as well. But the blacksmith is actually unlocked through chapter 3 as well, so you should be able to find him at various points. But go watch that video if you want the specifics. Now I do like this set specifically because of the buffs it gives to immobilize, which is like the best spell in the game, and you can then immobilize enemies for a longer period of time, deal additional damage to them, crash that immobilization to lower the cooldown reduction on your immobilize, so you can follow up with another one very quickly. There are some late game sets that are definitely better than the bronze set that I'm wearing here, and if you personally prefer to say perfect dodge, you could wear like the Gale Guard set as well there, which is beneficial for the benefits you get from perfect dodging. Like there's nothing wrong with any of these different sets. You can totally find one that you prefer, but that's just what I've gone, as I find like interlacing these thrust attacks with immobilize has been quite successful for me. For your like curious or your talismans, I'm wearing the Tally Tiger for the extra light attack damage, the Cat Eye Beads for extra crit chance, and the Back Scratcher for extra stamina. Now spirit wise, you've got a couple of options here. I am using the red haired Yaksha for the extra heavy attack damage, but the Tiger Acolyte is also pretty good to increase your critical hit damage, which is a fantastic option here, right? Because we get that extra critical hit chance from the whirling thrust once you've got those skills, right? So you can even buff it further with like the other skills in like the main foundation line, or the celestial medicine that you can get from the Zoo Dog as well. So you've got benefits there, other ways you can increase your critical hit chance, and then having that extra critical hit damage is just something that you can totally do to actually use. I was pretty impressed when I found this weapon and figured out this side quest, because it is nice to have like a different light attack combo chain, because you know you do use a staff weapon basically through the whole game, and for all of the different like weapons that you do find, they all have those same light attack combos. It's really nice to have a weapon like this that gives you some variation in your light attack combos, and obviously if you don't like that variation or you don't like the thrust stancing itself, you can switch to some of the other weapons, as this is one that's basically solely for like the thrust stance realistically, whereas the other weapon stances do have weapons that are like mostly specifically for those stances, right? There is one for the smash stance, there's one for the pillar stance as well, like the long reef staff here. So there's plenty of options in terms of like build variety and like things that you may want to put together, but it's nice to have something like this that does act a little bit different. And especially once you get good at interlacing those tactical retreats with like your heavy thrust, like those varied combos, this weapon does really sing because of that. You get that extra damage when you are using those, and the varied combos in the thrust lines probably the best compared to say the pillar, where you've got like the spinning gale, or the smash stance where you just do like a smaller smash, right? This one actually has some unique benefits, allowing you to sort of move out of the combat, move back in, and like avoid attacks while still actually attacking. And I do quite like that, especially the range on like that after the tactical retreat, that heavy thrust, you do get a solid amount of range on that like return strike. So getting used to those combos and paying attention to what those skills actually do is something you should definitely learn. And once you have figured out those balances and those like tactical retreats and everything, you'll totally see a lot of success with this weapon. It's just a bit more finesse based than, you know, smacking things in the face with like the pillar stance, right? Where you can just climb to the top and like wait for it to expire and then slam down, you know what I mean? But let me know your thoughts on this build in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.